Weapons is a film that I was really looking forward to since I've seen the trailer for the last few months at the cinema. Just the general kind of vibe of the children disappearing really, really appealed. And I've got to say, that whole vibe was present throughout the whole film. They maintained the kind of spooky feeling of it the whole time, and the almost kind of dreamlike state of a lot of the film, which I think is very difficult to do. A lot of films you see nowadays, that dreamlike state can kind of dissipate as the film goes on. And often it feels like a sort of artistic choice that somebody makes at the start of a film, and then they change their mind as it goes through, which can also be a bit disconcerting at times. The other thing that I also liked was that it maintained that kind of feeling and that kind of vibe after the switch, the twist, whatever you want to call it. And I think that was really good, because there was a danger if you mishandle that kind of part of a film, that all the momentum and all the feeling can kind of go away, and suddenly it's like if that's all you've built to is that kind of a switch or a twist, then you've maybe not got very much left to play with thereafter. So one of the really biggest things for this was the way it was filmed. It was absolutely beautifully filmed. The shots were all busy but not crowded. I loved the choice of lighting in it, and also the fact that it had a grit to it. It felt like it had actually been filmed. It didn't feel, nothing in it was lacking in weight or any kind of like real kind of feeling of gravitas, and there's some genuinely horrifying moments. The moment when the school kind of director teacher guy comes running into the gas station and attacks the kind of one of the lead characters there is terrifying, but the way they filmed it is brilliant, because you see him in the background coming in towards the character, and they're filming it with the focus still kind of where it is, but slowly shifting as they start to realize, hang on, something isn't right here. And that works beautifully, really wonderfully. And that whole aesthetic of having the kids with their arms out, I think was really great. But yeah, the way this was filmed really enhanced the feeling of it. If they tried to film this a lot cleaner and clearer and had not had that emphasis on kind of creating a gravity and a weight to it, I think they probably could have lost quite a lot in the process, but they managed to avoid that with the gritty way that it's been filmed. I enjoy films like that are filmed in a more sort of older style. I prefer practical effects over CGI, almost always, and that just, it worked for me. I felt this was a film that was made in a modern environment that was more meant to feel like an older film, and that really worked well. So in terms of criticisms, just a few kind of small ones, really. I felt that the multi-character thing, it's weird. They didn't introduce it early on. Like, it felt like they were just developing the lead female role and then introduced the multi-character thing later on. And it was almost like somebody sort of saw it like halfway through doing it. It was like, oh, this is the thing we could do. Now, I don't think that's the case, but it had that feeling almost of like this just kind of happened later or something, rather than being a real solid kind of like step through, here's each character kind of thing. But I did like it. I like the multi-perspective thing. It's a format that works well for me. It worked well for me with Freaky Tales recently. That's the kind of more characters but multiple parts. Obviously sort of things like Pulp Fiction, Sin City, these all worked really, really well with a similar kind of an approach. So yeah, I liked it, but I felt it wasn't so even, and maybe the character, individual sections for each character weren't quite as even as they could have been. I make no bones about the fact that I'm not a big Josh Brolin fan. I find him to be very plain. I find that he's very safe as an actor. He tends to just sort of deliver the same performance. And I guess if you're a director and you just want somebody to play that guy, that role, then he's probably ideal for that. But for me, it doesn't do so much interesting for me. I find him a little bit boring and plain. And here, that that's definitely the case. It's 100% the character that he's playing. He's playing that Josh Brolin character, and if you're into that Josh Brolin thing, then you'll probably enjoy this. Probably won't annoy you, but I find he's sometimes, if he's in the absolute lead of a role, he's probably enough to put me off. In this case, he's kind of back enough from the lead role that I can kind of deal with it. I think it's probably worth pointing out some influences that I kind of noticed in the kind of weird, dreamlike, ethereal feel of it. It reminded me a bit of Insidious, the James Wan movie series now, but more the first couple of those were very in that space. I mean, obviously, Barbarian, that's going to be the comparison everybody's going to make, but it does have a bit of the feel of Barbarian. Especially with that kind of like normal people and an abnormal thing or person or entity kind of thing. And the other one was a little bit of Longlegs in there. Not just in the kind of feel of the film, but the theming and the trailer and, all that kind of stuff. Definitely, there was definitely hints of Osgood Perkins vibe throughout. That kind of vibe that he does. But yeah, those were the main influences that I was kind of feeling in that. Hinted towards almost sort of Children of the Corn in places as well. But I think it strayed enough away from that to kind of give itself a little bit more kind of weight and kind of gravity. And I guess maybe something like Signs, that kind of feeling of like people not knowing what's going on and not being able to quite actually place what's happening. I mean, the plot borrows from loads of places, but this is more kind of the feel for me and the way that it felt like other films of that type. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I think it's one of the best horror films I've seen this year. I've seen a lot of horror movies where the first half of them is excellent and the second half doesn't hold up, or there'll be some point in the film where there'll be an obvious change that I just didn't enjoy. And this managed to avoid that, which I really, really like. This really pleased me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one worth going and seeing if you have any interest in it, either seeing it at the cinema or probably by this point, actually, it'll be out at the cinema. Then watch it on streaming, download it, rent it, that kind of thing. Definitely one to give some of your time to.